Hi, this is Priya Kumar. I'm a motivational speaker, author, and screenwriter, and I welcome you to this special episode where I talk about mastering reading with audiobooks with a special attention on Storytel. So a lot of people ask me, Priya, how did you become an author? How did you become a speaker? What does it take to be a good author and a good public speaker? And I tell you, author and speaker I became later. But what was at the foundation of my craft and my skills was the art, skill, and habit of reading. If you're not a reader, you cannot be a writer, forget it. It's like, you have never heard a song in your life and you want to become a singer. That आपको सुर और ताल का कुछ knowledge नहीं है, but you want to become a musician. ऐसा नहीं होता है, right? That you have never read a book in your life, you've never done research, you have never explored content, you have never educated yourself, and you want to become a public speaker. And आज के ज़माने में ना, people also want to become influencers. With social media gaining so much attention, and especially now in lockdown, everybody wants to be an influencer and put their opinions out there. It's wonderful, it's great. I think social media, the digital medium and technology has provided a great platform for sharing. But at the base of it, there should be some knowledge, there should be some discipline, and there should be some smashing content. And therefore, reading is that base, it is that foundation. And I'll also give you a tip if you really want to be an author, influencer, speaker. Self-help is a genre you really need to immerse and master yourself in. Now, I tell you, when I started my career as a speaker, I read at one point 200 books in a year. You have no idea. It's surprising that I got glasses such late in life, but I used to read that much. And these are not books that I picked up from the library. These are books that I bought because, self-help is such a genre. You want to own the books. You want to write in it. You want to make notes. You want to refer back to them. So the habit of reading is what has got me here so far. And you know why I put so much stress on self-help? Because self-help gives you different viewpoints. See, if you have a problem, if there is a challenge, you have one way of looking at it, right? Your point of view, which has been shaped by your knowledge, by your experience, by your education, and by the input of information that you carry. But there's another side of the coin, right? There's another side of the problem which you have no access to. You don't even know that exists. And therefore, when people give you solutions, say, oh no, you don't understand, because he's seeing the problem from a different side and angle, and you're seeing it from your trapped angle. And therefore, the genre of self-help, good reading, offers you those different points of view and different perspectives. And that is why reading becomes such an invaluable tool in your personal development to enhance your career and life goals, no matter what they may be. But you know what? In today's times especially, I find that, we all are on a lack of time when it comes to reading, and I have found that audiobooks have been a great help. When I started my career, I used to order audio tapes, and that also from America. India mein to self-help was not a very big genre, and nobody was making these tapes except, the gurus and the spiritual gurus, and that was fine. So my self-help personal development tapes used to come from America. And I think some of you would not have been born also then, वो जब tapes आती थी ना, you were so afraid ये खराब हो गई तो it's finished, it's kaput, so I still have some of those tapes which are pretty useless, they don't play anymore. But audiobooks gave me the opportunity to understand the content better. And today also, I'll show you the Storytel app. There are books that I have as ebooks, as physical books, as hardcover books, and as audiobooks. तो कभी-कभी ऐसे होता है ना, I have read a book 2 times, 3 times, but when I listen to it, I understand yet another level. I go yet another tone deeper into the content and find different perspectives and meanings which I didn't get while reading the book. And so I'm a great fan of audiobooks. And today, technology, and especially the Storytel app, which I'm now coming to, has given me the opportunity to put a whole load of reading content in one place just for 299 rupees a month. That's even less than the price of a cup of coffee that I can have sitting in a coffee shop reading a book. And if you look at my app, I have a khazana, a treasure of audiobooks. अभी तो though chalo we are all in the lockdown, but whenever I would travel, I would drive, I'd listen to my own playlist of songs and my audiobooks. Sometimes I'd be going for a meeting and I'm listening to, skill with people, or I'm listening to how to influence people, or I'm listening to how to make a great presentation. That would stay with me. You can't really read a book when you're in your travels, but audiobooks, I tell you, they take me right up here. क्योंकि सुनी बात है ना तो याद ज़्यादा रहती है versus something that you have read. I have seen that retention of an audio content is far greater than read content. Although I love books, I love physical books, I love reading, I love writing my notes, and I do that also with my audiobooks. And I'll tell you, a lot of people ask me, what are your habits? What are some of the habits that you would say have attributed to your success? And I will tell you, listening to books as religion. I wake up in the morning, after my alarm, the next sound is the audiobook. And I tell you, there's this book, Millionaire Mindset. Every morning for months, maybe 3 to 4 months, that book would play in the background. जैसे भजन चलते हैं ना, वैसे मेरे घर में audio books चलती है in the background. Why? Because I am so weak in numbers and finances. I really needed to learn not just about finances, but also that mindset of finances. And that book was life-changing for me. And the content would be in the background. You see, some of the skills we are so weak at that we need constant reminders about it. And today I sit with my accountant and I have common sense about finances, which I wanted. And that is a big win for me. Yes, I read books, but that audio book in the background literally has gone into my subconscious mind. I haven't mastered finances, but I have enough common sense to see through what tallies, what doesn't tally, how I should save, how I should invest, and so on and so forth. So if you are a fan of the genre of self-help, I tell you, Storytel and the audiobook selection that they have will be like a magic treasure box for you. And when you have great content playing in the background, it makes for a positive environment. It suddenly brings those things into your view and enhances your skills. It's worked for me, and whoever I tell this to, when they have tried, they also come up with some magical stories. Now that's the beauty about audiobooks. I can't do that with a book. I can't have it in the background. I have to actually sit and read it. So audiobooks, especially for my own personal growth, have been such a blessing. And I clock in now almost 2 audiobooks a week, and that is huge. If it were left just to reading it, I don't think I could manage that in today's time. So let me show you the Storytel app. First of all, why I love it is because it's a one-time payment for a month. It's not that you have to buy per audiobook and so on. You pay $2.99 and now you have the store. How many books do you want to read? It's like literally a steal. And now it's up to me, how much content can I consume in that little time. And what I also love about the app is that it has regional content also, so you can choose your languages. Although I read in English, I've also selected Hindi because I need to surprisingly brush up my Hindi sometimes. I find it very difficult to read Hindi books, so it's very nice if somebody is reading it to me. And you can look at my personal store. First of all, I'm a fan of biographies. I write biographies, I read biographies. I want to know how the guy made it big. And I'll tell you this very honestly, sometimes reading a biography, reading is a tad boring, but listening to it is fine, and listening to it in the background is even more amazing, because while I'm doing some other work, I can pay attention. What was that? Go rewind and hear it again, right? So I'm actually filtering through and getting my own content and creating my own notes. I love it. And then I have these self-help books, and Storytel has an amazing selection. And I tell you, if I were to individually buy these books, they would be 300-500 rupees per book. And this is an app where in 300 I have access to it all, so I don't have to purchase one individually. And it's literally, I have all the content to do a PhD, do my research work right here on Storytel. And then I'll also tell you about the genre summaries. That is another USP, that they have summaries also of books. So while I've read a book, like for example Rich Dad Poor Dad, I've read it, I don't know, maybe 6 times. I've heard the audiobook maybe 10 times. But sometimes you want to, in 15 minutes, half an hour, you want a quick summary of what I had done, of what I had read, of the notes I had made. So Storytel also has summaries, which is amazing, and to a great collection of self-help books. And as a special offer for you guys, Storytel has offered a 30-day free trial. But I would say just go just go enroll in it only, because this is something that you really need. Everybody is talking about what will happen after the lockdown, what is going to happen in the future. Honestly, nobody knows. But I know what I can do with my life now, that no matter what the future holds, I can prepare myself for any future that may unfold. And to build a base of confidence, to build a base of skill, to build a base of knowledge is in my hands, right? That much though at least I can do, right? So in $2.99, I have the opportunity. I just have to make the time and put on my headphones or let the content play in the background. And you also have to know that Storytel, the name Storytel is that it also has stories. It has a lot of fiction and it's very dramatic. It's very nice, self-help, you can't create drama, but I love the way the narrations of the fiction books are done. It might be interesting for you to read it. Hear it. And I'll also tell you that if you're new to audiobooks, and sometimes when I'm listening to an audiobook, it takes a little time to settle in, because your mind is wavering. You got other things going on. It's like you read a book. It takes a while for you to get into the rhythm, and then you can't leave it. Audiobooks are just the same, because the person's voice can be different. It may not be a pitch and tone that you're used to, so it takes about 5, 10, 15 minutes for it to sink in. And especially if you're my kind who listen to a lot of audiobooks, then you get used to it. 6 hours you're listening to somebody, then when you switch to another audiobook, it's another voice, and you're like, hey, I want the previous narrator back. So don't be impatient, allow it to sink in. And I tell you, I'm the kind of person, I told you, who's read 200 books in a year, and I put in about 2 a week, which is possible with audiobooks and affordable and more interesting with Storytel. And I'll also tell you something very interesting, that if you've already read a book, it would be interesting now to hear the audio version of it. And so many times I have felt this, that my understanding has gone to a higher level. From what I read to what I heard, it's almost magical. It's almost literally that content is being presented to me on another level. Try it. It's very interesting, and you will resonate with me. You will end up making notes which you never made in the earlier book. So currently in the lockdown, I am reading, and also I'm listening to audiobooks. I'm clocking in two books a week, and I think that is less, but still that is good enough, because I'm remembering the content, and because I'm creating so much content, it is adding value to me. See, personally, I believe that no matter what your life goals are, reading as a habit will only add magic, will only add value to it. That in today's times, you will agree, content is everything. Your internal power and influence is everything. You have the potential to be an influencer, but in light of this lockdown where you can't do anything, can't go anywhere, can't meet anybody, what is the least that you can do is take care of your input. And therefore, reading is a quality that will take you and sail you safely into the future. That when people ask you, what is the future? You'll say, I don't know, but I'm ready for any that presents itself. So I'm going to highly recommend audiobooks, and I'm going to highly recommend Storytel. And if you do read a book, let's exchange notes. I would like to do that. I'm so tempted to start a book reading club, or to start a discussion, with what we've read and how that is useful, and our own opinions and ideas on it. Actually, I've been doing so many webinars for book readers clubs, so I'd be happy to connect with you on that. In fact, I might just pick a book that I have heard, and I'm going to put it up for discussion. So on all other social media, we'll have a good chat about it. Until then, look after your health, make that investment, look after your mind, and everything else will fall into place. You will make that happen. All right, then, I will see you again next week. Until then, stay safe.